again is Sheng Yuar, and in this shallow dive, we're going to look into WeaponObject.ini. What is WeaponObject.ini, you ask? Well, as you already know, the object folder in the ini folder is the folder that contains the way that they sorted all of the objects into the game. So what that means is that all the army buildings, the trees, the tanks, water even is in those objects, is in those files. So what that means is also the tank shells, the missiles, and that's what the weapon objects are. So even the nuclear missile. Speaking of which, let's go check out the nuclear missile. As our example in this video, we are going to go to our neutron missile building, and we're going to go down and look for our OCL special power template. And we're going to look for the OCL. In this case, it's Super Weapon Neutron Missile. Don't forget about the underscore. Go to our creation list. As you can see, our neutron missile weapon is an actual weapon. And that means it's literally a weapon.ini input. Which brings us to our neutron missile weapon. And I'm sure you're familiar with the screen. So right here we have the fire effect. So that's the missile when it first fires. And then this is the exhaust from the projectile, so the white exhaust, and then here is our projectile that we can find in weapon objects. Again, the object, our projectile, is the nuclear missile for China. And the way that the nuclear blast works is there is a special slow death behavior module tag, and it has a special type of code that causes the blast. What I did was I added a special code. What I did was I added a code to it to create an object when it dies. Because I could have used the fire weapon when it's dead behavior, but it seemed to have some sort of conflict with the slow death behavior. So I used it to create an object. That's that little object you saw that appeared right before the nuclear explosion took over and the fire started. So as you can see, that little object, when it dies, creates an OCL, because that's the object creation list, and it creates what I called a little fire mine, which again takes us back to the weapon objects. And as you can see, that has that little mine. We can take this back, see where this model says none. We can put none there and it will disappear. I only have the model there just to make sure it works. And then, as you can see, I have some other little parameters, which eventually I do have it fire weapon on a certain time frame. So this is how it self-depreciates and allows it to fire this particular weapon, which is the Firestorm weapon, the Black Napalm, which I edited in itself. I'll show you that real fast. See how it takes us to an object creation list input, and it brings us to an object, in this case, Black Napalm Firestorm Small, and then we go back, and where do we find our small object? That's right, it is not in the weapon object, it is in our system file. And then when we go to system, in this case, Black Napalm, I cloned it, and I edited the Firestorm dynamic geometry. So in this case, it has an initial delay of 800 milliseconds, or just under a second, because 1000 milliseconds is a second. And as you can see, it grows up into a radius of 666. That's why it's just outside of the radius of the blast. And it takes 8 seconds to get to that height. Additionally, you will need to play with the particle system. As you can see, I have it set to upgraded 2, because it will not actually physically go out. Because while it will physically go out that distance, the actual graphic itself, in this case the particle, will not stay there for the whole duration of the actual burning, which in this case is 18 to 25 seconds. So what this will do is this, I'm still experimenting with this, so my timing is still a little bit off. So we need to go into our particle system, and we just need to edit a few things, mostly just the lifetime, and we can edit the size if we want to. but mostly the lifetime. So I'm going to turn this to 85 to 150. Then I'm going to go and see back what the other ring was. And that one is upgraded too. And we are going to do the same thing. And that's how I got the Firestorm to expand out that far. I just played with the particle system code as you just saw, and then I also played with the weapon object code itself, or rather I played with the actual Black Napalm Firestorm Small itself, which is the Firestorm dynamic code. The main reason why I wanted to talk about this topic is because of a specific thing that happens with the GLA units in particular. They have a nice dynamic system of multiple upgrades. Instead of having multiple weapon sets, you could have a single weapon set and then have the projectile object of that weapon set be upgraded based on other upgrades that you buy. So for example, as you can see right here, this is actually the toxin shell, so as you can see right here, we have the rocket buggy missile. This is also similar to the tank shell for the Scorpion. When you buy the upgrade for the Toxin Shell, it will do the Toxin Shell upgrade. But then when you buy the Anthrax upgrade for it, it will also do the upgraded version of the Anthrax and the Toxin. However, if you get the chemistry for Anthrax Gamma with the Toxin Shells, it does the Gamma. And because I added my own, if you buy the Anthrax Omega upgrade, you will instead get the large Poison Field Delta Death Weapon, which in this case is a white Anthrax weapon, for obvious reasons. Future is here. Thank you for sticking around. Don't feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and obviously if you have any suggestions for tutorial ideas, feel free to drop them below. And as you can see, this is my modding manual. I update it all the time. I actually haven't updated it since right before Christmas, but I think I have a tutorial coming up soon that will change that. So yeah, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to drop them there. Don't forget that I have a tutorial playlist that has all of my 93 tutorials. And don't forget I have a Discord channel that you can choose. I have the invite on the modding manual and in the description below. And if you can't do that, I do have a Facebook group that is kind of dead. And I hope to see you around. I'm always making new stuff, so Happy New Year. Hey look, there's somebody here. Hello, Anonymous Frog.